who changes the tire on the Mystery Machine? Do you know?
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, who changes the tire on the Mystery Machine?
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo.
He does? Where's the next
You got it right. All right. No questions about that horribly confusing and cryptic thing. Hi.
So I guess my question would be, have you always had this creative mindset and been just making things for yourself and not caring, or was that like a realization that you came to?
It was kind of an epiphany. I mean, like many of us, I spent a lot of valuable time just watching TV and sleeping in and eating cereal. And yeah, for some reason, again, I can't super duper explain it, but for some reason I just decided that I'd like to build some trail of breadcrumbs back from wherever I came to wherever I'm going. And I wanted some kind of record of my time. How that manifested, you know, just in terms of like, if it's drawing or writing or art, visual art or whatever. I've always been connected to folks in visual industries. You know, in a past life, I built websites for artists and all that kind of stuff, and so there was always like close proximity. But weirdly, that never got me into it outside of this context, where I just decided I'm sick of wearing the shirt from Target that doesn't have any pictures on it, but is the only one that fits me. So I'm gonna go make a patch that I can put on it and feel like I belong now. And then that built into this. You want a pin? Here you go. Thank you so much. Very nice pitch earlier too, by the way. Hi, you want a pin, huh?
I mean, sure, of course. I think it's really interesting how you talk about being a nihilist to me, because I'm not one and I don't understand what that has to do.
You poor baby.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And my question to you is, I'm a teacher, and I'm always interested on how to work with and support different kinds of ways of thinking, and especially the ones that I don't understand. The ones that I understand are very easy for me to understand how to encourage and support. So, in your life, have you found interactions with teachers that are helpful or supportive? Is my question to you.
Interactions with teachers who are helpful or supportive. I mean, certainly. I think that mentorship is very important. I think that it's an art, you know, and in the same way that it's hard to not raise your kid to be yourself, I think that being a mentor is probably, there's a narrow path to not just bringing up a bunch of views. But I've had a few key mentors in my life where they have listened to me and not really, you know, there's just a certain type of person, a certain teacher will just, that is bullshit, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, and you have to figure out a way to, as a mentee, you have to figure out a way to be pushed, right? You know, and listen to advice that you're getting. But as a mentor, I think that, or as a teacher, to your question, you know, it is about sort of reading whatever person that you're talking to and trying to quickly get to the heart of what's making them tick, and then, you know, probably listening to their body language or their language about what kind of help that they need. What age do you teach?
All ages.
All ages? Come on. Little ones, big ones?
5 to 105.
5 to 105. Yeah. I bet the 5-year-olds and the 105-year-olds are the worst ones, and everybody else.
No, 5-year-olds are the best.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, you know, some people just have a fucking axe to grind, right? Yeah. And there's not a way to. My opinion is that the way to that person's heart is not to beam sunlight at them. You know, you probably have to get down there with them and try to understand, why do you feel that way? Did something happen, or are you just pissed off? And then. I am terrible at this advice, but not diving in and fixing their problem and trying to equip them with some kind of tool or some kind of perspective shift so that they fix it themselves, that feels essential. But I'm a desperate like wheel grabber, like, hey, you're doing it wrong, you know, and I am working on that about myself. I hope I was helpful.
Yeah, that was very helpful.
Thank you.
And I get a pin.
And you get a pin.
Thank you.
Hi. So I think oftentimes like genius feels like an individual pursuit, or it's kind of like, I mean, I think in some ways you think of it's somebody in their closet, whatever, thinking. Is there a place for community or peers in the realm of genius and driving each other? Have you found that? And I don't know if you can speak to that at all.
Yeah. You're asking about community.
Yeah, I mean, what's your experience, I guess, with people kind of driving you, pushing you, saying go for it, or
Sure,
crazy,
sure. I mean, I definitely have a few key people that like, I'm this, again with this personality, but I'm this awful pusher that like just, you know, lets people in and then pushes them out to see if they want to stay. And usually it's like, hey, I don't want to work this hard, and so bye. And I was like, I knew that. But there are a couple people that, you know, have, you know, pole vaulted and jumped through all the goddamn hoops and, you know, skirted the tiger pit, and they're here now. And they've expressed to me that they are willing to confront my idea of something, whatever it is, with their own perspective, and not just love it because they love me, and not just hate it because they don't understand it. And actually have a point of view. And I have a real hard time asking for feedback because, you know, I feel like it's cheating. But then also I'm not sure how I'm going to react. Am I going to attack somebody for answering my very simple question? So I keep it very tight. Like, there are a few guys, one of them sitting right next to you, this guy Lynn here. There's a couple folks at Buck Wild where it's like, what do you think about this? Is this desperate? Is this too vulnerable? Is this useless? And I don't always activate on that feedback, but 96 times out of 100, I'm glad I asked. Past that, from more of like a test market thing, a lot of my shit is like, comes from this weird Japanese toy world where it's all about surprise and super limited, and you go finish the whole goddamn thing before you even make a peep about it, and then you just reveal it to the world and it sells out instantly, and if it doesn't, it's a total fucking failure, and if it does, I told you so, and get out because you're not cool enough to have my toy. I'm gonna buy it back from you. Unhealthy, right? But some of my Instagram is great for testing ideas, and you know, I can't believe I just said Instagram is great, but that's where I'm at. That's where I test ideas, and just knowing who you're sort of, you know, it's your circles, right? You know, I have a pretty tight circle that I'll be vulnerable with and I'll actually ask about, and then there's a larger and larger circle where it's just like, if you don't get it, that's okay. Maybe you'll get the next one. And then there's a larger circle where it's, you don't get it, good. I didn't want you to. You want a pen? Sure. Okay. Hi.
Hi. So you strike me as really
Yeah.
self-aware.
Hi.
And I'm wondering if that's something that has kind of been innate with you, or if you made a conscious decision to work at self-awareness, and if that's something that you continue to do.
It is something that I continue to do. There's all shitloads of therapy involved. And it is about, I mean, don't be fooled. Like, I have no idea what's happening. I just have a bunch of language for it. But be fooled, because obviously that's what I want, because I'm up here talking about it. I think language is important. I think that it gets in the way all the way until you encounter someone who doesn't have language for their condition. I think that understanding patterns within oneself and knowing, just doing your best to not repeat crimes and mistakes is important. That all sounds very like virtuous and wholesome and stuff, but I screw that up all the time. I'm hard to be around. And There are people in my life that have accepted that and deal with that. There are people in my life that struggle with that, and I struggle with that. Like sometimes it would be, I call them Cheetos or Doritos people. Like I wish I was a Cheetos or Doritos person who just, that's my big thing this week. What am I doing? Am I eating Cheetos or am I eating Doritos? And it's just, it's not gonna happen for me. So instead I sit and write, and maybe if there's a little sentence that comes out of 3,000 words, I'll put that into a pen or a patch or something like that, and then, you know, that process helps me reconcile that. And then later, maybe if there's someone who's interested in the cut of my jib, you know, maybe they can see that, and that can be the beginning of a conversation where we talk about something. But it is a point, to answer your question. I mean, I am consciously conscious. And I don't think if I could go back and not choose that, I don't think I would unmake that decision, but I think about it a lot. Do you want a pin? Okay. I got three more pins. Athena and her sisters got. Hi. Here you go. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I've noticed, I feel like you've got a lot going on. In a very good way.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
So how do you get your mind to rest? How do you stop the noise? Because I think you need that, you know, to be able to pursue your.
Yeah.
How do you personally just shut down?
I'm on like a 7-year bender of not that. So at my worst, you know, I attack the people who love me and let them come back and say, my mom's back there looking at me like an asshole. At my worst, I attack people who love me and then make them deal with calming me down. I exercise, I sleep, I work. Sometimes work dealing with, you know, the lords of global commerce is a way to check out of anything real and just make that money. But sometimes that feeds the problem. So it is a struggle. I don't mind telling you. I'm not prepared to qualify that as mental illness or anything like that, but I think that it is habitual. And I think more often than not, if given a choice to rest or to not rest, I probably am addicted to not resting. I do spend time with my son. You know, there are moments. I've been practicing meditation and stuff. Can't believe I said that, but you know, there are moments where they're just very pleasant, where a little 10-second piece of presence, eating a 96-cent ice cream cone with my son from McDonald's or some shit, can count against 10 days of toil. And I just try to notice those times. Hi.
You said that, you know, when you're creating, you should feel angry or calm down or upset. What do you do about the times when you don't feel anything at all?
Yeah. Personally, for myself, I just keep swimming until I get pissed. It's just not my experience that I've made anything that I feel passionately about if I wasn't passionate when I made it. And you know, you're not writing a hit every day. There's not a hit on every record. There's not a home run every game. That's where all the fuck-ups come in. You know, that's where you create this pile of leaves of just junk and shit. And then every once in a while, you'll just get so fired up. This row of people here is all just like, I work with them, and they're just like, I've been there for that. You know, sometimes you just go jump in it, you know, and see what happens. And there are reams and reams and reams of uninspired drivel, totally desperate, self-referential, over overly descriptive, hyper punctuated shit that I've written where it's just like, whoa, there's 3 words in there that's worth doing something about. And I'm working through how to chase that high when it's good for me and not chase that high when it's not. But you know, there's a lot of distance between the starting line and the finish line and all that type of stuff. And anybody who's been on that kind of journey, or anybody who's found themselves in the middle and just like, I've come so far and I have so far yet to go, that can be demoralizing. And the only tool that I have for that, hopeless feeling, personally, is to go to sleep. I'm gonna walk back there, but I'm gonna take a question. Yeah, I have one more pin. How much time do I have?
Last question.
Last question. Okay, so that was the last question. Hi.
Hi. You spoke a fair amount about failure, expect to fail, and how that's a valuable part of the process. I was wondering if you would tell us more about notable failure.
Yeah, wow, thank you for that. Here you go. Thank you. Yeah. Shit. Okay, so the pin and patch community is like this locust scourge cloud of shitty bugs on Instagram where people are making Simpsons pins and Rick and Morty pins and Simpsons as Rick and Morty pins and pizza pins and donut pins and all the shit that everybody's seen forever and ever and ever. A couple years ago, my friend and I, she's sitting right there, we were listening to this Drake record a lot. And I had this idea that I was gonna take all these weird like Drake couplets and shit and make a little zine out of it with little drawings. And then I made these Drake trading cards where it was like this old Yo MTV Raps template with all these pictures of Drake with like breakfast foods and stuff. And it was cool. But then I also made this patch, which was, it was like the Yo MTV Raps logo. And instead of Yo MTV Raps, it said with my woes. And I liked it as I was making it. But at some point, I gotta tell you, at some point, I was like, this is gonna be a hit. People are gonna fucking love this. This is Bart Simpson shit. And made it, ordered more than I should have. Ask me how many of those motherfuckers I have in my house. Never again. Never again. I don't care that nobody bought it. I care that I got swept up. And I don't want to feel that way again.